Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space created weekly is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. I am just grinning from ear to ear. It has been so fun doing all of these guest interviews with some badass people over the last month, but I'm really excited for just a solo episode today. Maybe a little selfishly excited about it just because this is my chance to I call this my therapy session, one of my therapy sessions that I have, but with myself and everyone else on the other side of the microphone. And I find that these episodes are so powerful because when I show the courage to be vulnerable like this, so many of you on the other side listening also show that same vulnerability in your lives. And so this podcast is just going to be totally raw and vulnerable around my life lately and just some things that have come up for me that I hope will impact you and help you take steps forward in your life and whatever it is that you are currently walking through. So before I do that though, let's go ahead and do Becoming Your Strong moment because it's been a couple of weeks since we've had the chance just to acknowledge everyone out there that's working so hard. And I don't have a singular or particular person, but just over the last month, I coach a lot of women, especially on the Underdog Fitness team, but a lot of them have just been they've been going through some damn life, personal stuff, career stuff, massive sicknesses that have taken them out of their training programs, and have put them through the freaking floor. It's just been kind of all over the place, honestly. And I don't think any of these girls, obviously we're all on the same team together, but I think everyone has this mentality of just wanting to stay strong. And I understand that, but I think that there's so much power in being able to share with people hey, I'm not okay today. And I need a little bit of extra love to help me walk through this. And I happened to put a voice note out in my group chat yesterday just of hey, everyone is going through it. Please know that you are not alone in any of this. You are not failing because things aren't going the way that you hoped that they would. And all of them just leaned in to each other and took down those barriers of I want to be strong, but in this moment, I don't have to be strong alone. And so I share that just as a reminder, again, that you're not alone and that you don't also need to do this alone, that you can lean into the people around you, that community and relationships are so powerful in these moments. And you're not weak because you're choosing to lean in. You're growing. You're stepping into your power because you're choosing to lean into other people and have them lift you when you need it most. I think we all can agree some of the best moments in life is when we've been able to support other people and watch them thrive after they've hit their rock bottom. Give someone else the opportunity to do that for you. You are not a burden whatsoever. Allow for people to do what they love, which is to help other people grow and succeed and achieve what they want. So just wanted to share that specifically. And let's jump on in. So life lately, to be quite honest, has been tough. It's been pretty hard. I had some bombs dropped a couple weeks back that really took me back in my healing journey that I've been on over the last handful of months. I've had a lot of responsibility added to my plate, and there's just this kind of constant nagging pressure and anxiety that I have to just always be doing things because I always have stuff on my to-do list. So, I can't take a second to breathe. I just need to keep going. Otherwise it's going to stack up. I feel like my life, especially in the last month, has shifted from me getting up to live and enjoy the moment to me getting up to work and I go to work and then I come back and go to bed and then I do it over and over again, which is such a like not fun cycle to be in. Honestly, I've felt on edge and like just frustrated with like myself, with things going on in life. Especially like even with like my training, I'm 30 something days out, less than 30 days out from my first half marathon, and a little bit longer than that, I think 30 to 60 days out from my my first DecaFit of the year. And then after that, it'll be a month out from there that I have my first qualification like times to put up for the season. I'll fly out to Connecticut to do that. And I just remember last year, like this time, like it was just so much like simpler in trying to get all the things done that I want to get done. And it's not like that this year whatsoever. So I feel like I'm missing the boat on like what I want to actually accomplish with myself as an athlete. And I can't believe I'm going to share this, but again, here we are. We're vulnerable. I went on my first date this past weekend. And that was the first time since I parted with my partner last year. And, you know, there's several mixed emotions and fears and things that just come along with that. So it's been a lot. Nothing like crazy. Like I'm not dying. I'm in great health. Everyone around me that I love is doing like wonderful things. Like by no means am I complaining being like, woe is me. It's just this season has brought some new challenges that I haven't had to deal with. And I want to validate myself and that, yeah, maybe I'm not like trying to survive cancer or certain things that other people are going through right now, but I am validated in feeling the way that I'm feeling, that this is tough and this is different and I need to work through this. I haven't particularly enjoyed this season, if I'm being honest. And I've honestly felt ashamed some days of like how I've showed up or how I've talked to myself, just being like, ew, like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that person. I don't like how I feel. Like you just feel like you're in kind of like this pit and you're wondering how to get out of it type thing. Just like really guarded. I don't know if that makes any sense. Kind of like you're wrapped in like shackles, like, you know, this is not where you want to be, but like there's just so much resistance in trying to like be anything outside of that. So that's been really weird. But there was a day that I had recently where I was like on the verge of like crumbling. And in that moment, I reflected and I realized that there were some very important lessons coming through that I needed to recognize, and that I also needed to go through these things in order to grow into that next version of Kayla that I know that I'm very capable of becoming. So I wanted to share just like 3 to 4 things that have come up for me during this season of life that hasn't been ideal, to shift the perspective and to help those of you maybe going through something similar, or maybe we'll go through something similar in the future. Just some things to keep close to home. And to maybe help you feel again like you're not alone, to validate where you're at, but not make you feel stuck there. Because it's okay to feel, but it's not okay to just be stuck there and live there. And that actually segues perfectly into the first thing that I wanted to mention, which is what you feel does not dictate who you are. And that feelings, guys, they're truly just temporary. They are fleeting in the moment. I can feel lonely, I can feel sad, I can feel frustrated, but I am not a lonely, sad, frustrated person. Coming to this like realization and being able to separate those things, my feelings from who I am, has really helped me a lot in knowing that this is just temporary, that this isn't me. It's not who I am, who I've become, or what I will become. I'm not going to stay stuck here. It's just what I'm currently feeling, and I get to choose what I do with those. Unfortunately, my last relationship had me feeling a lot of guilt around some of the things that I felt, and I never was validated in how I felt. And unfortunately, I walked away believing that I was like this terrible person, and no wonder like no one will ever love me. And that sucked. And I've had to spend the last 5 to 6 months of my life digging myself out of that, realizing that that's not true, that is not the correct story, that I don't need to live with that anymore. And just because I'm feeling certain things doesn't make me a bad person whatsoever, regardless of what happened in the past that tried to tell me that that was the case. So I needed to be okay with sitting in what I was feeling and being able to say, okay, like I can feel this. I can validate the reasons as to why I'm feeling this. And now I can take whatever perspective I want and choose how I'm going to feel something different, choose how to take an action in a different direction. So just for me, like having that separation of the feelings versus who I am just really has helped me not feel like a shitty person, to be quite honest, and has helped me gain my power back. Just knowing that that is just something that is I'm going through right now. It is not my life. It is not me. And I also want to say that like feelings are wonderful, guys. Like feelings are a very special part of the human experience, and they can do wonderful things for our life. Like they can tell you when you are off your rocker, which is what my feelings have told me of like, like I think I might be trying to pour from an empty cup right now, and I need to find ways to fill back up my cup again. Like the way that I was feeling, the exhaustion, the burnout, the frustration, the anger, all of that on edge feeling, I was like, I think maybe my cup is really, really empty. And it's time for me to go feel that, right? So the feelings can allow for you to seek out those truths. And it also allows for you to really appreciate things, right? To appreciate that these moments are temporary and that, life is going to get better from here. And when it does start to get better, you can really, really appreciate the moments when it's like, this is awesome, right? Because they don't last forever. But feelings truly are a gift, and they guide you so well if you allow them to. Never should they ever make you feel stuck or like you're a bad person. So that's the first thing. The next thing that I wanted to mention is that stress is a perspective. With so many things being piled up on my plate, guys, and all of the good things, like I've had so many wonderful things happening for me. Like work is getting busier, my book of business is getting busier. People are wanting to work with me. This is all I've ever asked for, is for people to like trust in me and see the value that I bring to their lives, not just in an athletic or in like a coaching stance, but in like a relationship stance too. Like the relationships and friendships that I'm building with these people. Like I remember a few years ago saying like, God, I really, really want to be a good coach. And like, here I am, like I'm living the dream. I'm doing the thing. And because of that, I've had my work go through the roof, which is amazing. But that doesn't mean that I'm not overwhelmed with how I'm going to like juggle it all. And that's normal. That's normal. I think the thing that I'm most proud of is that I've been able to say like, wow, like look at how life is showing up for me, and it's not like happening to me. And that's a really big difference. Life happening to me takes the control out of it. It takes the gratitude out of it. It makes me go into the woe is me, my life sucks, versus life is happening for me is like, I am grateful of all things, good, bad, ugly, everything in between, because I know that it's adding to my book of experience, which is going to lead to me becoming a better person, right? So I always look at it as like, life is happening for me. It's showing up for me today, and I get to choose how I show up for it. So in these moments where I'm feeling a lot of stress, I've had to just do the simple stuff. Stop, take a big ass deep breath, organize my thoughts, like write everything down, like just journal, like how I'm feeling and what I'm going through, and validating myself, to then like brain dumping all the things that are on my mind that are floating around from the things that I have to get done, and just anything really, versus letting it just stay up there to create more stories about how much I have to do and how much I can't rest, or I can't take my foot off the pedal, because if I do, I will I will fail. I will not accomplish the goal, whatever the case is. So I have to stop to organize the thoughts versus let the stories take over. And then I just start to break things down. And it's incredible, you guys, when you write things down and you prioritize them and you create some lists and some micro goals within those lists. Oh my gosh, man, just like it's like you had this weight lifted off your shoulder that you could see more clearly of like what actually needs to get done. And then you're able to say, oh, I can create this goal of like, I just need to get 3 people, through the cycle today. And then I just need to get 3 more people through the cycle tomorrow. And then that task is done versus like that daunting task of like, I have so many people to do this, and that for. Like, break it down, make it like into bite-sized chunks. It sounds so silly, but I think that that's just applicable across all things in life as we look at this long staircase that we have to climb. But maybe we just need to look down at our feet and just focus on the first freaking step. And that's all, right? And that just brings it back to stress is a perspective. And it's also an incredible opportunity to create boundaries with yourself and with others. For me, it's been saying no to things, to other friends, to coworkers, to bosses, right? That like, hey, this is not within my capacity right now, and that's okay. Also with myself, of being able to set the boundaries of like, you do not need to work yourself to death, because if you do, we know what will happen. So when you get home at 6:30 or 7:30 at night, yes, you can look at what you need to accomplish the next day, but then you close the book on that and you have a nice dinner, just you and yourself, a nice candle, and then you can diamond dot and let all of the worries slip away, because guess what? That's tomorrow's thing to deal with, not right now. And just like forcing myself to do that has been so good for me. It's been hard, but it's been so good. And just even like the last like week or two of really just starting to shift that, I've noticed a difference in how well I'm sleeping and just how much more energized I am to tackle the day. Like just going back to this idea, like you can't pour from an empty cup. Like you could keep trying, but like your creativity, your energy, like your ability to think clearly, like your thoughts are just so clouded and you just feel constantly overwhelmed. But if you give yourself a chance to recharge, like, yeah, maybe you're taking that hour away from doing something productive to put it towards yourself, and that feels wrong and that feels like, oh, like I can't because I have all these things. But that trade-off and the energy and the excitement and the creativity and the recharge that comes from that, now something that I needed an hour to do maybe only takes me 5 minutes because I'm just like, oh, there's the answer, boom, boom, boom. So if you really feel like you are just clouded, you're struggling to remember things, like you just feel like you kind of want to scream with it, it's okay. Give yourself an hour of your day just to be and to do whatever it is that you want. Not productive, just do whatever it is that you want. And I encourage you to try that and just see how you feel after that. So that's the next thing. The other thing that I'd like to mention is the best box that you can check off your list is the consistency box. I mentioned that I've been frustrated with not having the perfect build to my first half marathon, to this DecaFit. Like I've set some goals, before I going through this season of life where like I wanted to run a half marathon in under 2 hours. And the DecaFit, I really wanted to ruffle some feathers and get really good at the running piece and not feel like all of these girls were constantly running circles around me, even though I'm a really good strong athlete. Like I wanted to prove to myself that like I can be a really good like fit athlete on the opposite end of the spectrum. And with my schedule changing and having a lot more going on, just things on my plate, the ability to just train how I used to and have the freedom to do so, that ain't the case anymore. Like I have to stay within some pretty tight parameters. And even in the moments where I'm like, okay, I finally get the time to go and do this. Like I'm used to working out at like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm having to work out at 2 or 3 in the afternoon when I hit that wall and I'm freaking exhausted and I don't want to. Like I've had to work through that and through all the things of like, well, crap, this machine is taken, or shit, it's like raining and it's freaking blowing like 90 miles an hour outside. I'm supposed to get this run in. Like, it's been so many little things that have not lined up. And I'm like, is this trying to tell me that like, this is just like, it's just not working, so I should stop? Or is it trying to teach me something? Like, truly, these are the conversations that I have with myself. It is so easy to toss in the towel or to say, you know what, I'm just going to lessen the goal. But this moment in my life has made me rethink why I'm doing the things, why I'm setting certain goals, and like, what is the true measure of success for myself outside of the results of, you know, me wanting to do a sub 2 hour marathon or wanting to, you know, do really well at the DecaFit. Like, what is the actual measure of success? And going back to those whys and realizing that, like, I don't need the perfect training program to accomplish that. I don't need the perfect sessions every single day to accomplish that. I just need to be consistent in showing up and doing what I can with what I have. And so I've had to have a come to Jesus talk with myself. And I've said, not every training session is going to go as planned, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad one. It doesn't mean that you wasted your time. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to be ready when the gun goes off. The only bad one is the one that didn't happen because you're just like, well, screw it. It's not the perfect conditions. It's not the perfect goodness. It's not the perfect ideal condition, so therefore I'm not going to do it. Like, you still showed up and you made it happen. Stay consistent and the right outcomes are going to show up. And I promise you, you're going to also learn a lot along the way. Like, now I'm learning how to be super tight with my time and really, really intentional with where I'm spending my energy and effort, not just in my training sessions, but even outside of work, right? Like, it's not that it can't be done. Like, it can be done. I just have to shift a little bit of how it's getting done and not compare or judge to how I got it done in a previous season. And that is okay. The last thing that I wanted to mention is this idea that you will never feel ready. And that is totally cool. That's not the point. I went on my first date this last weekend. And like I said, there's just so many mixed emotions on it. Like, even like when I scheduled it and then the moments leading up to it and how I felt during it and then after. And I've just like questioned, like, am I really ready for like this next chapter to start exploring that again and start putting myself out there as a potential partner, knowing that like I'm not fully healed and I probably never will be fully healed. That's not necessarily the point, but I've never wanted to just put myself back out there because I feel like, oh, like I'm clinching onto this idea of marriage, or I'm clinching onto this, like, I don't want to feel like lonely anymore. I want to have someone next to me. Like, I don't want to jump back into the dating life again because of those things. So I've held myself back a lot because I want to feel ready in that place of like, I am ready and available to explore again what it would be like to have not someone that makes my life better, but would be in addition to the life that I'm building. And so I've been doing a lot of trying to build what I want behind the scenes. And am I fully there yet? No. But I also believe that I also have to get out there to practice trusting myself and choosing me. I can do that when it's easy by myself. But when you start throwing other people in the mix and you've got someone who's a classic like people pleaser that wants to make people happy, that's where like shit hits the fan, right? That's where road meets the rubber. And I can't heal that way. I can't practice that way by myself. I gotta go out there and put myself in those situations to force myself to have my own back. And I would say that I did that, right? Like, being really intentional about who this first date was with and just the communication around it. Just like, I was really proud of myself of being like, hey, I just enjoyed it for what it was. This is not my person, and that's okay. And now I can communicate that in a way that feels best to me and know that however they feel is not is when I share this is out of my control, and that's okay. But I just need to show up in a way that's best for me, not trying to please other people. So anyways, if you're questioning that, I don't know if I'm ready for this next step or phase in my life, don't worry about that. Don't question that if you're ready. Just be intentional around the person that you want to show up as. And if you find that you're really, really struggling to do that, well, then maybe it's not the chance. Maybe there's still some things that you need to sort of figure out on your side, and that's okay. And there's still some things that I need to figure out on my side, but I do feel very confident that like I'm moving in the right directions and I'm doing this in a very, very, very smart way. So that is that, you guys. I want to leave you with this, and hoping that it really just seals the deal here and pulls some heartstrings. One day, this will be a chapter in a book that you tell other people about. What stories do you want to tell? And how do you want to leave your mark? Think about that. Let that sit with you. And know that, yeah, this is a tough time. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's weird. But it's all a part of the experience. It's what is supposed to be happening right now. And if you take it with the right perspective, you're going to be able to share stories one day that are going to truly inspire and change other people's lives, including your own. So it's your choice on what you do from here on out. Thank you guys so much for showing up for you today. I hope that this episode was truly impactful. Be sure to share this with anyone that needs to hear this message, and rate and review the podcast if you haven't already. That's my life lately and all the things that are going on. Not sure really what's going to be on the lineup for you guys next week, but we're just going to live a little bit more life, a little bit more presently, and see what happens next. All right, you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time on another episode of Becoming Your Strong. See you then.